Welcome back. We are doing very well with our CSS tutorial. Now today I want us to look at something else that is going to give us a head start into making our documents look a little bit more spaced and they look beautiful and all that. Look at the margins that we have on our page here. You can see that the border and the letters where the letters start are very squeezed together. If you do this, let me say, actually this is dashed solid. Let me do solid. You can see how tightly stuck these ones are looking. So how about if you wanted to add some space? And you can see the same thing also happens up here where we have my name is Geoffrey. You can see the same thing happening here. We would like to have some space here and also some space here. Now we have two items in CSS. The first one is called padding and the second one is called margin. Now very many even advanced developers have challenges understanding these two items, and I am going to be explaining to you today so that you can get stuff moving very fast on your side. So what happens, we have something known as the box model in CSS, and I'm also going to do a high level introduction to this so that you can understand how the box model works. If you open any or even this one, if you inspect this one, here we have what is called the box model. Let me go to computer so it comes fast. You see this box you are seeing here is what is referred to as the box model. Let me just enlarge this for the sake of your eyes. Enlarge this. You can see here we have what is referred to as the box model. Now here, how this thing works is that you can see we have a margin, we have a border, and then we have padding. So when you have your text inside here, for instance, what we have here, this, when I highlight here, is highlighting my text. When you have this text here, what happens is that when you add padding affects this part of your text. So if you have a border and some text and then you add padding is going to affect the space between your text and or your item or your element and the border. If you add margin affects the part between your border and the outside, so the edges of the browser. So this is where the effect happens. Let's see this on our example here. So I will reduce this so that we have some space, or I close it all together. Let me add something like padding here. Padding. So when I do padding and maybe I do 10 pixels, where do we expect this to touch? Of course this is padding, so we expect that it will touch the space between our border and our text. So I refresh this and you can see that immediately there is some padding of 10 pixels that has been added between the border and the text here. What if I did margin? If I come back here and refresh, you can see now what margin did is that it added space. Let me actually do 20 so that you can see 20 added space between the edge of the browser and the text. So nothing has happened between the border and the text, but there is some space between the border and the margin of the browser. So this space here, this is what has been added. And by the way, this space is normally added all around, so it has been added all around. If you do 100, you're going to see that the space has been added all around our text. So this is what margin does. If you did padding, well, padding, remember, is going to affect the space between our text and the border here. So the order is margin, border, padding. Margin outside, border, then padding in the middle. So when I refresh, you can see now that the margin is exactly where it was. Then there has been some space of 100 pixels added round between the border and the text that we have, or the element that we have. This, by the way, must not be text. You can have an image and the same is going to be applied. So you can go ahead and do some practice with the borders and the margins. And by the way, you can also combine the both. Margin of 10 pixels, you can also do that. This is just going to add some space between here all around. Refresh, you can see that. So you can combine them, and we are going to meet in the next video.